So balance and particularly the glute muscles are super important for golf. And so being able to stand on one leg and particularly working the gluteus medius muscle, which the gluteus medius muscle helps us to keep a level pelvis when we're on one leg. And a lot of times if that muscle isn't strong enough, we see if there's someone's in single leg stance that kind of drops down, or what we call in Trendelenburg, because that muscle on their stance leg is not able to keep the hips nice and level. We see the same thing with the golf swing. So even though we're on two legs, if that muscle is not strong enough, then we see a little bit more lateral motion with that lateral sway or that lateral slide in their golf swing, as opposed to a nice rotary motion. So we can actually work on someone's balance and work on the gluteus medius muscle with the CLX band. So what we're going to do is take the band and we're going to find two loops right in the middle of the band, two ones that are next to each other, and we're going to put them around her feet and the other one around her foot. And then we're going to take the ends of the band, and she's actually going to put her hands through the loops where there's a little bit of tension in the band. So if we go there, put her hands through the loop, and we'll do the same thing over here. Put her hands through a loop. So the purpose for the hands through the loop is that when she actually pulls her hands up, we're actually going to get some core activation. So what we mean by that is normally when you go to move, whether you're moving your arms or your legs or whatever, your core, those deeper core muscles should actually fire first, should actually fire before you move your arm and your leg to help stabilize the spine for a nice kind of symmetrical movement. If those muscles aren't working as well as they need to, particularly in someone who's had pain, we know that pain tends to inhibit some of those muscles, and so they're not activating on their own like they're supposed to. So we can actually help those muscles out. So by holding the bands in the hand with a little tension, she's going to pull up like this and actually activates her core. She feels her core have to tighten up against the resistance of the band. From there, with that pre-core activation, she's going to stand just on her left leg. So we've got some balance, and then we're going to perform a hip abduction movement where she's going to bring her foot out to the right and to the left. Important thing with this is keeping the right foot pointed straight forward, not letting it turn out where you start to use other muscles besides that gluteus medius. The other thing is we want to make sure that the trunk is nice and upright, that she's not leaning to one side. A lot of times, again, if we have weakness in those muscles, as she starts to bring her leg out or she goes single leg stance, we start to see some trunk lean over that support side. That's not good as well. So everything should be nice and upright, and just a little kick out right and left. Doesn't have to be a big kick, just again in a range that she can control. And we can do the same thing on the other side, so standing on her right leg and just kicking out to the left, so we're working both sides there. If we want to challenge it a little bit more, so we can actually bring the arms up overhead, so now we're really working the trunk, we're really working the core with that activation, and she's still performing that hip abduction movement with the single leg stance. This is a very challenging exercise, but it's a way to progress your golfers, progress your athletes from the base exercise.